While the film does a good job setting up its concept and main plot, I believe that its middle act is severely weak. Why? Well, I just find it boring due to the lack of tension, drama, or conflict. There's a part in the film where the kids have to find some ingredients to make their own antidote. Instead of making this into an exciting adventure separated into long and difficult set pieces, it's instead cut down to a minute-long montage, and only one ingredient becomes a major scene. What happens in this montage could have potentially been executed as a load of exciting conflicts that could have taken up a majority of the story, but what we get instead is a sort of mini music video. To me, the middle act just doesn't have enough going for it. There's nothing memorable or exciting happening. It's made up of rushed conflicts and unconstructive bickering, and it chooses some pointless moments to be the highlighted focus at times. In one scene, the villain has this dragged out banter with his henchmen where he doesn't know how to punish them for their insolence. It goes on and on and on and on. It gets to a point where it begins to make no sense and gets boring. So many scenes are like this, and they go on for so long that they become either redundant or irrelevant. The film picks some silly moments to have its much longer scenes, and while parts that could have been possibly exciting, get little or no attention.
When I first saw this movie in cinemas, I was blown away and really impressed. But then I saw the film again recently and didn't have the same experience, far from it. Instead, I was really bored, and this lack of investment drew my attention to the problems with the film. I felt like this film lacked a sense of adventure. The characters don't travel that far, they don't come across that many obstacles or conflicts, and the climax feels like it arrives really soon. It's a very short and uneventful journey to me. This makes the movie very underwhelming. It also doesn't help that the pacing comes across as way too rushed. The movie darts and bounces between its scenes at hyperactive speed. This supersonic style of storytelling creates gaping plot holes, because the film isn't interested in explaining certain elements. I know a lot of people really love it, but I don't like Monsters Inc. that much. Calm down, breathe. Let me explain why. For those of you who don't know, Monsters Inc. is a movie set in a world full of monsters, where children's screams power their technology, which means that factories like Monsters Inc. use talented scarers to collect screams. The monsters believe that human kids are toxic, and when a child called Boo breaks into the monsters' world, a professional scarer called Sully and his assistant Mike must try and return the girl home before the authority finds out. Sure, Boo is very cute, and her friendship with Sully is adorable, heartfelt, and tender. Yes, that door sequence is an amazingly spectacular finale, but as a whole, I find Monsters Inc. to be such a boring movie. All I remember happening was two monsters bickering and arguing as they chased a toddler around a corporate building. That's the biggest problem with it. It's set in such a bland, grey, cold, and unexciting place. I got sick of spending time in that factory. It's definitely not the worst Pixar movie, but I would say it's one of my least favourites. That's not all. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I really enjoy Monsters University. It's official, there is no God. No caring and loving Lord Almighty would allow human eyes to see animation this heinous and ugly. Holy shit, this is just disgusting. Where's the love? Where's the effort? Where's the passion? This movie was made in 2012, yet it looks like a Barbie movie from the early 2000s. Characters have boxy and unappealing models, with mouths that barely sync with the dialogue, eyes that look awkwardly crossed half the time, plus hair that bobs and bounces around like everyone's head is having a wig dance party. I honestly felt afraid while watching this film, and I don't mean that in a hyperbolic way. I was genuinely terrified of this movie's animation. Everyone's appearance resembles a demonic robot, and anytime a character looked directly into the camera, my heart actually jumped. These characters are so awfully rendered and poorly animated that they border on horror. I cling to my pillow for most of this film because I was so afraid of what horrendous face or jarring movement would pop up on screen next. None of the character performances can be taken seriously because the animation is either stupidly goofy or disturbingly scary. The only compliment I can give the animation is that at least it looks better than Rap City Street Kids, which isn't exactly saying much. I'm going to give 0 points to the animation. To conclude, Disaster Movie is the worst live-action film I've seen to date. It's that bad. It's rubbish, crude, crass, lazy, insulting, condescending, offensive, patronising. This is pure unfiltered shit. Although, it's a little weird when a bear's speaking voice changes drastically when they sing. For example, Tennessee the Bear's speaking voice is done by Toby Huss, and his singing voice is provided by Don Henley. When listening to the change, it's like hearing Joe Jack from King of the Hill suddenly turn into Bryan Adams.
Oh, Trixie. Well, I'm all a mess on account of how much I miss you. I know
Tennessee.
Don't look at me like I'm a stranger now. Have I changed that much? Baby, tell me how.
To conclude, The Country Bears is a very bland musical, with creepy looking bears, forgettable songs, and really stupid writing. In addition, a lot of the characters have separate singing and speaking voices, which can work as Disney has proven, but not in this case. The characters' singing and speaking voices in this film are hilariously different from each other, Rudolph in particular.
Go ahead and laugh. Everyone else does.
I'm out here on my own to face the day alone. I need you to get me through the night.
I'm going to give 0 points to the music. To conclude, I think that Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer the movie is a disaster. It's lazy, cheap, and very poorly executed. It doesn't help matters when Ronan Keating's singing voice for Pat poorly transitions from Stephen Mangan's speaking voice. They sound so strikingly different that it looks more like Pat is just lip-syncing to Westlife songs. On the plus side, Rupert Grint is surprisingly a good singer. Who would have imagined Ron Weasley could actually sing? And because he's singing for his own character, the transition from speaking to singing totally works. I'm going to give 1 point to the music.